Good afternoon, folks. Got another cider review for you here in early May, so we're getting officially into winter, which is maybe not the traditional time to be drinking cider, but if it's good enough, it'll go down nicely at whatever time of the year. But okay, today we've got a Harvest cider, 4.7% alcohol. This is brewed by the same people who make the Scrumpy that I reviewed 1 or 2 weeks ago. Comes from Gisborne, and it's meant to be a sort of light, refreshing cider, so we'll have a look. It's about $9 or $10 for these 1.25 litre PET bottles, so it's at the cheaper end of your ciders, and it's not the classiest really presentation. It's I guess it's cheap and cheerful would be the polite way of putting it. But they've been making it since 1989, so a lot longer than a lot of the Johnny-come-lately cider makers in New Zealand, and so they must be doing something right. Most of the info on the actual Harvest Cider Company I covered in the Scrumpy review, so I'll put a link to that down below, and if you have a look at that, it'll cover it there. So yeah, all the info on the website and what have you. What's actually in this stuff? East Coast, which is the Gisborne area, so Gisborne's on the east coast of New Zealand. Apple concentrate, so it's made from concentrate, not freshly squeezed apples. They say that they just make too much of it to be able to make it from freshly squeezed. So there's apple juice concentrate, yeast, and a bit of water and apple juice concentrate to get it consistently tasting the same and at the same level of sweetness and alcohol content. So let's have a look here. Now they say that it's a New Zealand style cider, so that would tend to mean that it's made from dessert apples rather than, or eating apples rather than traditional cider apples. So it's likely to be a sweeter, milder style rather than the more tannic traditional British style. So New Zealand style cider made entirely from East Coast New Zealand apples, giving it a light, fruity, crisp and refreshing taste. A truly exceptional award-winning cider that they've been producing for over 20 years. And it did win a bronze in the New Zealand 2017 Beer Cider Awards that New World ran. You'll remember maybe that the Scrumpy actually won a gold medal in those awards and was the champion cider of the show. So I was interested to see what this lower alcohol version, which is really just exactly the same cider but brewed out to 4.7 instead of I think the 8.2% that the other one is. It's pretty much what you'd expect. Not much head as usual, as per usual for cider, but it looks like exactly what they say, a fairly light, perhaps slightly diluted apple juice. Pretty lightly carbonated, although like a lot of soft drink from a PET, there's a surprising amount of bubble that they manage to cram into it. So even though there isn't much of a head on it, this is going to give you a fair bit of gas, I'd say. But definitely on the palate, they say that it's light and fruity. Light is the operative word. It's very light and subtle. It's really quite mildly flavoured. You can tell that it's not 100% apple juice. It's been diluted with something, because there just really isn't the depth of flavour that you get from a standard apple juice. It's really pretty light and subtle, but there's nothing unpleasant about it. It's not overly sweet. It's a lot less sweet than standard apple juice. There's no off flavours, and unlike some of the other flavoured ciders that I've been trying recently, there's no no artificial flavours. There shouldn't be any artificial flavours in cider that's sold in New Zealand supermarkets, because legally they're not allowed to have them in there apparently. But some of them still taste as if they've got something out of a chemist's bottle there. But this really just tastes like very light, crisp, subtle, fizzy apple juice with the alcohol cutting down the sweetness. I can imagine sitting down on a warm summer's day and drinking more than one or two of these. Be a pleasant way to pass a bit of time. If you're going to look at food matching or something, probably seafood or a simple salad, something with quite mild flavours, because this really wouldn't overpower anything. But if you had it with a steak or something with a bit more guts to it, you'd really lose it. You'd need something with a bit more body. So in general, it's not a stunner, which I suspect probably means that I agree with the judges. There's not really many faults to it, and a bronze medal is probably a fair sort of reflection. It's nice enough. It's inexpensive. There's nothing wrong with it. If you like apple flavours and a light, crisp, refreshing cider, then I'd say give it a go. Harvest, East Coast, or Gisborne cider. There you go. Cheers. Hope you enjoyed the review, and we'll catch you next time for something worthwhile drinking.